Can't do that. Okay? There can be no contract made requiring payment in anything, including human beings. Time, labor, and energy. That's what HGR 192 is all about. They have to be discharged from jail or anywhere else. Think about the word discharge. They charge you. They have to discharge you. The charge comes in this side, it gets discharged out this side, just like a battery. It's all electrical. Okay? A charge card. You swipe that charge card through, and it's charged. The bill comes, and it's discharged, right? That's exactly the same thing, except now we're dealing in people, in bodies, in substance. And they're holding substance, us, for an empty or fictional charge, because we haven't known how to discharge it. And that's what we're doing in the UCC. When we file that UCC, we're making ourselves eligible and available to be discharged. We're registering for discharge. If you don't register, it doesn't appear. If it doesn't appear, you got a problem. You got to make it appear. Everybody says, I don't want that judgment. I got a friend of mine in Iowa that says, I'll take all of them I can get. Bring them on. I'm not afraid of a judgment. I've got a file full of tickets. He's never been to court. How does he do this? He registers them on the UCC, and he discharges them. Why? Because he can. Because he's the source of all credit. Your signature is the money.
Entity like a trust, can you register that trust?
I'm not talking about trusts.
Okay.
I can't deal in trusts.
Just humans.
I only deal in me.
Okay.
Okay? I can't, he wants to talk about how to register a trust. I can't do that for you. You'll have to talk to somebody with more knowledge than me.
Well, I meant like an entity, not necessarily a trust, but just a fictional entity.
Well, at one time, yes, in a form of a corporation, at one time I created a corporation before this, okay? And I have that corporation listed on my UCC. I'm first in line on that corporation. Everybody else has got to get in line. They got to pay me and discharge me from it before they can have it. Believe me, they don't want it. Okay? All I'm saying is you take these accounts, you register them and make them eligible for discharge. That's what registration is. Registering for taxation or registering for the purposes of the court. Okay? You don't ever want to say that judge doesn't exist. I did that. It works. Okay? It works too well because we created a situation that how are we going to undo this? The appeal has been on their desk for over 9 months. At the lowest level, I said the court doesn't exist and the judge doesn't exist. Can't make a decision. No decision forthcoming on a simple foreclosure. Okay? 9.5 months. No decision. We said they don't exist. They're not about to say they do. They can't prove it. When I said they didn't exist and we filed it in, if they come back and say you do, you got a controversy, don't you? That somebody's got to bring forward the proof. So we got a catch-22 here. On the one hand, we want the house. On the other, we can't get it. Nobody can. It's in limbo. Yeah, it's on the UCC, and I think I've got it solved. Because guess who the secured party is? I am. Because my friends went down on a UCC1 as my debtor, and I hold all their property for them. So all I got to do, I think, is go present my claim to the judge and solve her problem. And snatch it right away from the bank. Okay? Well, that's the way it works. It's not my system. That's what I'm talking about with the power of the UCC. Now, I have the paperwork. Yes, sir.
Excuse me, could you make out a UCC against yourself?
That's what we're talking about doing.
You were talking about your friends.
Yeah, but he said, can you make out a UCC against yourself? We're going to do that tomorrow. Okay? I'm going to show you all about how to do that. That's the straw man. Okay? All right. I have the paperwork that I got 3 weeks ago from Michigan, from some friends of mine. And the lady's husband was in court on an IRS matter, and her husband had cross-filed. She on him, him on her. The judge, who's the chief judge in Michigan, held him in contempt of court for failure to comply with the Internal Revenue Service in their investigation. Ordered him to jail for 7 days. Okay, for contempt. The very next day, she went down to the sheriff's office and presented her UCC1 with him as the debtor and her the secured party to the sheriff and said, release my property. The sheriff said, well, ma'am, you certainly have the right piece of paper. However, you're going to have to go see the judge because I'm not going to get in this. So she took the UCC1 with a simple note on it. Had the judge's name, the date, March 9th, 2001. Dear sir, please release my property to me immediately, the secured party. And then it said, or in the alternative, something, something, something. Anyway. What?
What is my remedy?
Yeah, and then the last thing she asked was, what is my remedy? And she signed her name. 3 hours later, she had an order from the judge. Oh, it was released the order of the court to me immediately. 3 hours later, she had an order releasing her husband for having substantially complied with the government's order to comply with the IRS. He didn't do any such thing. He's sitting in jail. 3 hours later, he's out of jail. And the judge had wrote this order. So that's what we're working on with the UCC, is extracting people right out of jail with it. I'm the secured party. You do not have a superior claim. That's why we go in and we ask, what is your name? Do you have a claim against me? We're asking to bring forth the claim. And the claim has to be stated in the registration of the UCC. That's the superior claim. And there isn't one. Why does the judge always say, no, I don't have a claim against you? Because he has to sit there as the judge in a neutral capacity. And then the U.S. attorney pipes up and says, well, we've got a claim over here. Well, what's your name? Well, I'm so-and-so. Do you have a claim against me? No, I don't. Well, do you know anyone who does? Yeah, the United States of America. Well, I'd like to call the United States of America to the stand. Well, we're not having any of that here. The U.S. attorney represents them, but he doesn't have a claim against me. And the United States he says the United States does, and I have a right to face my accuser. Now, some friends of mine in Texas got a subpoena to the grand jury. Fingerprints and handwriting. So another friend of mine went down to the clerk of the court and got a handful of subpoenas. You know, they used to issue them in blank. They don't anymore. After this, they don't issue them anymore. And he had stamped subpoenas, and he subpoenaed the United States of America for their fingerprints, handwriting, and photograph.